So about 4 years ago, I was in the gym and this really fucking scary guy was there. This huge monster, like 95 kilos, jacked as shit, like a bit of a like resting bitch, like blank faced, all right? He was just like this huge monster and he was a bit scary. And I remember at one point I'd just been like, "Yo, what's up, man? What's your name?" But when I spoke to him, he had such a stale voice note, like he wasn't that hyped up, and it was really scary to be around him. But dude, I did this over and over. We kept doing this like once a year because we would both visit Hong Kong in Christmas holidays. And you will not believe it. 4 years later, I was out and I was eating dinner with him. I was out hanging out. He came on a night out with me and we had an amazing time together. Felt like he is like a really good friend and somebody that I really like respect and want to be close with for a long time because I had such an amazing time with him. But I want to tell you how I met him because there was one night. So on a Wednesday night, I'd gone out and I'd been drinking, partying with my friends, hanging out with the people I haven't seen in a long time. Partying, drinking, I don't condone it, but I was with really good friends. Like, I think it was worth it, 100%. But yeah, that's a different discussion. But the next day, I have this weird thing where the day after drinking, I'm still social. I woke up, I went to box, and I still have like this looseness from the alcohol. Like if I drink a certain amount, I still feel the effects the next day. In a slightly different way. It's really hard to explain, but basically I was in the gym with my friend and I was loud as shit. I couldn't give less of a fuck what anyone thought of me. I guess that had something to do with the alcohol because sometimes I'm like that with my friends, but not all the time. But it definitely, I think the fact that I was with my friend and that I had that strange effect helped me to be really loose in this gym. So I was speaking really loud and the guy who was super scary who I'd met in the past was overhearing and he ended up commenting on something I said, making a joke about it. And afterwards we started speaking to him for a bit. And this is when I became close with this guy. This is when I became friends with him. After being social, talking to my friend, saying hi to everybody around me in the gym, this guy had said, like, he had just been so, like, he must have been so comfortable to speak to me given how, like, stupid I was acting, I suppose, how much I was laughing. And he ended up clicking, like he probably really liked the personality energy that I was giving off. Because right after that, we went to eat. We went downstairs to the restaurant part of this gym and we ate together and we hung out for a couple hours and literally became friends on the spot. And what I learned from this is if you're around one friend and you go somewhere and you're in really good energy, you will have a great time. And I forgot one of the biggest parts about this story. You know what led him to come eat with me? He didn't ask me. You know what I did? Just as I was leaving, I said, "Hey, you want to go eat with me, man?" And he said, "Yeah, sure, I'll come down in 5." So I just waited with him for 5 more minutes. This was the guy that I'd met on that same night. And it was at that moment I learned, like I relearned something, or I had already learned it, but I used something that was very powerful. And I call it the just ask technique. But really, it's so simple, man. You don't know if you're going to fail unless you try. And this mindset, like to be strengthening this all the time, especially something that is really like a really weird benefit of this mindset, just ask, you get way better experiences with girls. Because if you just keep asking a lot of, like if you have just this arrogance that you're worth, like you're hot shit, you can pull any girl you want. If you have that arrogance and you just keep asking pretty girls to go out on a date with you, there's going to be one that eventually goes out with you. And in my own life, the more like open I am to just trying it, I've been rejected a lot. I'm not going to lie to you at all. But I've also had really like amazing experiences meeting people. And so I think it's just such a beautiful thing to just be able to shoot your shot, to crash and burn if you want, man. Nothing wrong with that. I want to tell you something though. At this time, I was going out once, twice, 3 times a week. Every day I was going and having good chats with my boxing coach. I was hanging out with my family every day. I was being really social and comfortable, I was spending time with people I'm already comfortable with. And I was doing this so often that when I would meet new people, it was so easy because I'm already talking to so many people. I already have so many people in my life who love my company and talk to me. And even if it's just my boxing coach and my family and one friend, if I'm doing that and hanging out with them a lot, I know that it's going to be it just is so much easier for me to talk to people. I met this guy who I thought was so scary and I could hardly hold a conversation with him a few years ago, to this year becoming extremely close friends with him and him coming to a dinner with me. You don't get these big changes by doing nothing. It's this meta habit, bro. It's so powerful. If you just spend time with people and you you set it up in a position where you can't help it, but you have to be social on a day-to-day basis, where every day you have to go train with your boxing coach, or you're in the boxing gym and it's a group class or something. Man, if you just spend so much time around other people, I promise you it gets so much easier to talk. There was a time where, I'm gonna get deep here for a second, where I just got taken the mick out of me all the time. For you, those of you from Australia, that means people just thought of me as a joke. People took the piss out of me. And it would happen so much. People would refer to me as such an inferior being, treat me so poorly, as if I didn't have my own brain, as if I wasn't a real human. And this really rubbed off on me at the time. It really affected the way I felt about myself, and I couldn't laugh at I just wouldn't make any jokes, because every time I did, no one would laugh. No one would. Yeah, sorry, my this little fucking notification came up. I was scared that it cut the video off 10%. Fuck off. Every time I'm filming a video and it gets cut off, worst feeling in the entire world, man. Anyways, hopefully it's charging. My phone's charging. 3% on my power bank. Fuck. What I was saying, I kind of fucking zoned out a little. Oh yeah, I was really insecure about myself. And one thing led to the next, and in no time, I was finding it difficult to speak to people, and I stopped making jokes with people. I stopped trying to laugh all the time. I stopped trying to be the joker kind of guy I am and bring joy to everyone's life. And I hung out with my good friend, and when we did, I had, this guy, I could spend time with him in the past, and we literally, tears would come to our face of how hard we would laugh sometimes. I have a specific memory of we literally just spent 1 hour dying of laughter. And I'd gone from that to being super awkward, to finding it so difficult to talk to him. And for no reason, it became this difficult, impossible task to hang out with a good friend of mine. It became something that I hated. I did not enjoy it at all, and I went home early. And I hung out with him again a bit later, and I had an amazing time with him. And something changed in the meantime. The only thing that changed is I just kept trying to make jokes on the second time I met up with him. Even though my humor had never really changed, bro. My sense of humor, there's no, I don't ever realize a huge difference in my sense of humor, obviously I learn more jokes, and I'll always be funnier as time goes on because I've met more people, etc. But at this time, my humor was never really that different. I was just a bit of a fuckwit, when I'm with my friends, I'm just a bit stupid. I'm relaxed. When I'm with people I'm really close to, I just make so many jokes that some of them are going to be funny, and I end up having a great time with people. And it was through that process that I realized, it's only about one thing. It's just about trying to make jokes. You don't need to be this super funny comedian guy. You don't need to be some crazy guy, or you don't need that. All you need to do is to keep trying to be funny. I have some really important advice. I view it as extremely important. There's one thing that you need to do right now. You need to reach out to one of your friends. Whoever it is, even if you've drifted with them, you haven't known them since kindergarten. You just try and run something up. Just try and go to the gym with them. I came back from Hong Kong a couple of weeks ago, and as soon as I got here, I just messaged all the people that I would, not all, but a decent amount of the people that I really liked, and I said oh yo, we want to hang out. Obviously I didn't hang out with dickheads and people who don't like me, but I picked everybody who I thought was a respectful, kind person. I just asked them when they'd be free. I've met up with a decent few of them. I promise you that if you didn't try and just meet up with some people, that you would have no friends. If you didn't just ask. Because there's been so many times, for example, I don't remember exactly when, sometime in the last year, I went to Sydney, and when I was in Sydney, there was this chick who I grew up with, and I hadn't hung out with her in ages, but I literally just rung her. I was like, yo, wanna go to the fucking mall tomorrow? And this girl, I've been friends with her since I was a kid, but I lost touch with her 2, 3, 4 years. But we just went out together. We just hung out, and it kind of, like, in hindsight, it kind of boggled my mind, like, right after I'd hung out with her. It's like, holy shit, I'm super close with this girl now. Like, I've just had an amazing time with this person, and we kept hanging out a lot. She even took a day off school to hang out with me before I went back to my other city. And it really blew my mind that how easily you could reconnect and become close with somebody just by trying, just by attempting to hang out with them. Just, if I was you, man, let's just say you're a gym guy, or let's just say, even if you're not a gym guy, whatever you like to do, like for me, what I do is I just say, hey bro, you want to go to the gym? If I talk to someone, I have a nice conversation. Even recently, I've said to this, I can't recall the story, so I'm not going to use it. But yeah, I always just ask people to go to the gym, go for a swim, something that isn't going to knock me off my grind. You know, a lot of the time, I'm not going to lie, I say, oh yeah, we should go on a night out, or we should go party, or we should go on a date, or whatever. And all these things don't necessarily overall improve your life. I'm not against them at all, though. And look, if you're into that stuff, no problem. But just invite them to something. Don't be one of those fucking losers that just plays video games at home. I beg you. Because when I was that guy, I really hated my life. That's it for the video, bro. Have a great day, man. Thank you so much for listening.